Ramanujan's story blurs the line between genius and divine. India was a British colony when a boy from South India emerged to become one of the greatest mathematicians the world has ever known. His math wasn't just advanced, it was mind-bending. It was beyond the imagination of even the greatest mathematicians at that time. Infinite series, number theory, continued fractions. He revolutionized it all. His equations are a key part of string theory, the wild idea that the universe is made of tiny vibrating strings and has hidden dimensions. His insights are helping understand the black holes, those cosmic giants that swallow everything. And then there's moonshine theory, which reveals secret mathematical patterns tied to the very structure of the universe, like a cosmic code written in numbers. Ramanujan lived just for 32 years, but his contributions are still being used to solve some of the most complex problems in science. But to truly understand him, science is not enough. We need to dig deeper into his spirituality, because he was a deeply spiritual man. He believed that his mathematical genius was a gift to him from his clan deity Goddess Namagiri, who used to whisper mathematical truths to him in his dreams. He famously said, "An equation for me has no meaning unless it expresses a thought of God." Ramanujan's belief in the goddess wasn't the kind where you pray to God one day before your math test and hope for a miracle to pass. It was a sacred, lifelong, breathing, living relationship with the goddess. What makes his divine connection so plausible is that he did all that he did while battling poverty, social and cultural constraints, health issues, and an oppressive backdrop of colonization. In this video, we are diving into the mystical side of Ramanujan. We'll also look at other geniuses in science who used their dreams as portals to universal truths. We'll look at ancient wisdom traditions who also knew how to use dreams to uncover higher reality. We'll look at how Ramanujan might have interpreted the goddess's symbols and what's the concept of Kuladevi or Kuladevata in India. Ramanujan's story took a turn after he moved to Cambridge. Why did he feel so disconnected over there? Did the goddess stop speaking to him? We'll look into all of that in this video. Ramanujan described one of his dreams as, "While asleep, I had an unusual experience. There was a red screen formed by flowing blood, as it were. I was observing it. Suddenly, a hand began to write on the screen. I became all attention. That hand wrote a number of elliptic integrals. They stuck to my mind. As soon as I woke up, I committed them to writing." Ramanujan's connection to the goddess gave him access to higher states of consciousness, where universal truths and patterns flowed to him naturally, bypassing the traditional methods of learning. Because he was fully untrained, it wasn't just Ramanujan who had this deep connection with the goddess. Even his mother had a very strong bond with Namagiri. Even before Ramanujan was born, Goddess Namagiri appeared in his mother's dream and foretold her about the arrival of an extraordinary child in the family. Ramanujan's mother was really apprehensive about him going to Cambridge. So before he left for England, Goddess Namagiri again appeared in his mother's dream, and this gave her the courage to let her son go. For Ramanujan and his family, these dreams were divine messages that guided them throughout their life. These dream experiences aren't unique to humanity. Mendeleev, the Russian chemist who formulated the periodic table, reportedly saw the arrangement of elements in a dream. He said, "I saw in a dream a table where all the elements fell into place as required. Awakening, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper. This dream provided him with the structure of the periodic table, including the spaces for the elements which were yet to be discovered. Kekule, a German chemist, discovered the ring structure of benzene after dreaming of a snake eating its own tail, which was a symbolic representation of the molecule's cyclic structure. This snake eating its own tail is an ancient symbol known as Ouroboros. It came to him after years of studying the nature of carbon-carbon bonds. Niels Bohr, the physicist who developed the model of the atom, claimed to have dreamed about electrons orbiting the nucleus like planets around the sun. And this vision inspired his model of atomic structure. Dreams have always been a way for our minds to connect the dots in surprising ways, sparking ideas that we wouldn't think of during our normal waking hours. This is supported by neuroscience. There was a time in human history across cultures when dreaming wasn't a passive act. It was an art which was nurtured through rituals and ceremonies to access the universal knowledge. In ancient Egypt, dreams were believed to carry messages from the gods, offering guidance for life's greatest challenges. Priests were known as masters of the sacred things, as they helped people in interpreting those dreams. The Greeks built temples dedicated to their god of healing, where dreamers would go and seek visions in their dreams that would cure their ailments. Native American tribes like the Crow and Blackfoot believe dreams reveal cures through animals and spirits. The Aboriginal cultures of Australia have a concept of dream time, which is a spiritual dimension where ancestors known as dreamings reside. These ancestors can be contacted through dreams, and they provide the dreamers with artistic creations like songs, stories, and designs. All the knowledge that is received in dreams is seen as a channeled reproduction of ancestral wisdom and not as an original work. There's a Buddhist prayer that says, "When the state of dreaming has dawned, don't lie in ignorance like a corpse. Recognize your dreams and transform illusion into luminosity." So powerful, right? There's a special category of dreams known as clarity dreams, which arise from deep meditation, intense focus, and ritual practices, and they offer startling revelations and very creative solutions. It's said that such dreams have fueled the cultural and religious progress across ages. In Tibetan dream yoga, dreams are taken to the next level, where it's not just about having a dream, but about training your mind to becoming aware during your dream and to control it and guide it towards your spiritual progress. This practice has fascinating goals. The first one is to recognize that you are in a dream, which gives you the ability to guide it rather than just passively experience it. Engaging with the dream imagery, interpreting the symbols and metaphors, and deriving spiritual insights and wisdom from them. You see the dreams as portals to higher realms, where you can access universal truths. And finally, the goal is to realize that just like the waking life experience, the dream experience is also an illusion. By looking at it as an illusion, the practitioners let go of their ego and attachment and move towards clarity and freedom. Ramanujan probably wasn't consciously practicing it, but his life mirrored many of its principles. Let's break it down. Firstly, Ramanujan was fully aware, fully lucid during those dreams because he remembered all the imagery and all the equations that appeared in the dream. As soon as he would wake up, he would write those equations down and spend the next day working on them. He engaged with all the symbols that appeared in his dreams. He recognized Goddess Namagiri, revealing equations to him through images like scrolls unfolding and a handwriting, and even the red screen of blood. And here's the big one. His dreams were portals to higher truths. His timeless equations are helping us understand black hole physics and string theory, as if his dreams were directly accessing the fabric of cosmos, and mathematics was the language to express them. And finally, there's humility, non-attachment, and dissolution of ego. And Ramanujan lived that. He never claimed the genius as his own. He always said that it's coming from the goddess. He looked at himself as a vessel and not as the source. What if we looked at our own dreams in this way? Who knows what we might discover? Now let's look at the goddess that he dreamt of. Namagiri was his Kuladevi. In India, there's this beautiful concept of Devatas. Kula means clan and Devata means deity. The goddesses are known as Kuladevis and the gods are known as Kuladevas. Such deities are believed to ensure the physical, spiritual and material well-being of the specific lineage or clan that worships them. The concept of Kuladevatas mirrors similar traditions worldwide. In Japan, there are clan-specific guardian deities known as Ojigami. In Native American culture, there are totem spirits which represent clans and provide guidance and strength to them. In the Roman culture, there are Lares and Penates, which are household deities ensuring prosperity and protection. Such divine figures highlight the universal human need to be connected with and to be protected by something which is larger than life. Goddess Namagiri is a manifestation of Goddess Lakshmi, who is always with God Vishnu. And so Goddess Namagiri's consort is Narasimha, who was the man-lion avatar of God Vishnu. In Hindu mythology, there is a fascinating story around Namagiri's consort Narasimha. Narasimha is known for destroying the Daitya Hiranyakashipu, who arrogantly believed that he was invincible because of a boon that he received. The boon was that Hiranyakashipu could not be killed by a man or by an animal, neither indoors nor outdoors, neither during the day nor during the night. But Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, manifested as Narasimha, a being who was neither a man nor an animal, who emerged from a pillar, neither inside nor outside, to slay Hiranyakashipu at twilight, neither day nor night. This story highlights how the divine can find creative ways to overcome impossible odds, much like in the case of Ramanujan, where the goddess found a way to whisper mathematical truths to him in his dreams because they needed to be revealed to the world through him, despite there being extraordinary challenges in his life. Let's look at Namagiri's symbols and what role they might have played in Ramanujan's life. With lotus in her hands, Namagiri reminds us that even amidst chaos, purity and enlightenment are possible. For Ramanujan, the lotus symbolizes mathematical truths, pure and untainted. Just as the lotus rises above muddy water, his equations transcended human understanding, bridging the material and the cosmic, and revealing universal patterns that only few could fathom. At Namagiri's feet lies Sri Yantra, a sacred geometric diagram. Its interlocking triangles symbolize the union of Shakti, the divine feminine, and Shiva, the divine masculine. The yantra's mathematical precision mirrored the equations Ramanujan saw in his dreams. Namagiri's hands speak a divine language. The Abhaya Mudra, with its raised palm, offers fearlessness and protection, which enabled Ramanujan to embrace his unconventional genius without any doubt. The Varada Mudra, with palm facing downwards, provides boons and blessings, and to Ramanujan it provided extraordinary success despite all odds. The Golden Arch or Prabhavali frames Namagiri as this radiant center of the cosmos. For Ramanujan, it symbolized her omnipresence. She wasn't just confined to a temple for him, she was behind every number, every equation, every mathematical pattern that he encountered. Ramanujan's mathematical brilliance was apparent from a young age, and by the time he reached the age of 16, he came across a book which had around 5,000 mathematical results with no explanations or proofs, just raw formulas. But for Ramanujan, this was more than enough. The book sparked his genius and became his guide, inspiring him to derive and expand on those results entirely on his own. But there was a problem. Ramanujan focused so much on mathematics that he ignored literally everything else. He struggled in school, he failed his college exams multiple times. His scholarship was revoked and he couldn't complete his college degree. The rigid education system of colonial India wasn't designed for somebody like him, a prodigy with a single-minded focus. Life became even harder after that. No degree meant no job, so he lived in poverty, but his passion for mathematics kept growing. By his early 20s, he was filling notebooks with groundbreaking ideas, despite having no formal training. He started reaching out to influential people in the hope that somebody would recognize his potential. Finally, in 1912, he caught the attention of Narayana Iyer, the manager of Madras Port Trust. Iyer was blown away by Ramanujan's work and helped him get a job as a clerk at the Port Trust. It wasn't a job for Ramanujan's caliber, but it was something that gave him financial stability and enough to continue his mathematical explorations. The people who saw his potential encouraged him to reach out to prominent mathematicians at that time. In 1913, he wrote a letter to G.H. Hardy and included some of his work. Dear Sir, I beg to introduce myself to you as a clerk in the accounts department of the Port Trust office at Madras, on a salary of only £20 per annum. I am now about 23 years of age. I have had no university education, but I have undergone the ordinary school course. After leaving school, I have been employing the spare time at my disposal to work at mathematics. I have not trodden through the conventional regular course, which is followed in a university course, but I am striking out a new path for myself. I have made a special investigation of divergent series in general, and the results I get are termed by the local mathematicians as startling. Hardy immediately recognized Ramanujan's potential and invited him to Cambridge. Accepting the invitation wasn't an easy decision for Ramanujan. He was a devout Brahmin, and traveling overseas was considered a taboo, which could lead to spiritual impurity or loss of caste. Still, in 1914, Ramanujan made that leap and left behind his family, his culture, his food, and everything that felt familiar to him to collaborate with Hardy in Cambridge. It was a bold decision that led to some of the greatest published mathematical achievements the world has ever seen. However, it came at a great personal cost for Ramanujan. In England, Ramanujan faced significant challenges. He faced racism, emblematic of the larger colonial oppression faced by Indians at that time. There was social, spiritual, and cultural isolation, as often happens when people move away from their home country. There was the cold climate that he wasn't used to. There were limits to what he could eat there, with him being a strict vegetarian, and this posed a serious risk to his well-being, while his devotion to Goddess Namagiri remained unwavering. Imagine this: Ramanujan alone in cold grey halls of Cambridge, far away from the vibrant temples and rituals of his homeland. He felt completely disconnected and even tried to end it all. He was confined to a sanatorium. Could it be that, seeing the difficulties he faced, the goddess chose to remain silent? Or maybe her blessings were still there, just quieter, offering him the inner strength to carry on. If there's one thing that Ramanujan's story teaches us, it's that if you feel a spark of divine inspiration, do not doubt it. Get curious about it. Use it to fuel your creativity. Just like Ramanujan turned his devotion into groundbreaking mathematical insights, your divine inspiration could lead you to something extraordinary, something that can change your world or even ours. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. Please support my work by subscribing to this channel, and if you like this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family members.